Well, I'd like to talk today about my visit to Belovezhskaya Puscha and Brest Fortress a couple of weeks ago. I went down on Friday by car, arriving at the park in the early evening to be greeted by two women in traditional dress with the salted bread and flowers, which was really nice. And then on Saturday, we had a tour of the museum from one of the deputy directors. It's a lovely museum, it's really well done. It has natural scenes with stuffed animals from the park, ones I'm assured which had died naturally or from illness rather than being deliberately killed for the museum, of course. But it's a really nice way to showcase the wildlife that's in the park. Then we had a tour by a minibus of the park. I should add that I was with my 82-year-old mother, so hence the need for a minibus because the distances are quite large. We visited a traditional village. We also went to the place where Ded Moroz lives, and we stood outside his house and were told that if we shouted loud enough, Ded Moroz, that he would appear. So we played along, not expecting anything to happen, but indeed, much to our amazement, the door opened slowly and this Ded Moroz with his long white beard and his big stick appeared. And that was a lot of fun. We were invited to stand beside him and make a wish, which we did. We were also taken to a lovely big lake. It's an artificial lake. And other particular sort of spots in the park, really nice. Then in the afternoon, I had some time to myself, so I took a bicycle and spent a couple of hours cycling around the park, following a sort of vague sense of direction, since I didn't have a map. But I didn't get lost. I did find my way back, which was good. Unfortunately, I didn't see any wildlife. I think you have to get up very early in the morning to see any wildlife in their natural habitat. But we did see bison and other animals in the open pens that they have at the park. Then on Sunday we went to Brest Fortress, so quite a different day to Saturday. I've not been to Brest Fortress before. I've read a lot about it, so it was really wonderful. Well, wonderful is not quite the right word. It was very moving to go to that place, the scene of so much tragedy and bloodshed, but very moving memorials. We laid a wreath at the Eternal Flame. There's also the statue of the Thirst, the soldier who is lying on the ground reaching out for water with his helmet, which was a very particularly moving statue or monument, because it brought home to you, the very real suffering of the soldiers and civilians who were caught up in the fighting. And I think the attack by the Nazis came very unexpectedly, and one of their tactics was to starve the people into submission, water and of food. We had a tour of the museum, very well researched and laid out museum, full of information, so definitely worth another visit because it merits an entire day, just the museum. Also visited the Garrison Church, which has been rebuilt and rededicated as a working Orthodox church. That was very interesting. And the whole theme of war, bloodshed, brought home again, if you need to be reminded, it brought home again of the position that Belarus occupies in Europe and how that has often brought it great tragedy. I hope that will not be the case in the future. But it has been the scene of much fighting in its history, and not just 20th century history. But talking of wars of the 20th century, I was at the Victory Day event on the 9th of May. I helped lay a wreath with my Russian and American colleagues. This is a day when the contribution of the veterans is remembered, and it's a day that's a day when victory is celebrated. It's a very important day for veterans, for the focus to be on them and their contribution. And I could see that so many of them were wearing their medals proudly, with their family members with them. And it's a day when they can meet and talk to past comrades of their shared experience. In the UK, we remember the war rather differently. It's less of a celebration of victory. It's more a memorial of those who have died. We hold it not on Victory Day. We don't celebrate Victory Day in the UK, which is the 8th of May. We celebrate the Armistice Day, which is the day when fighting ceased in the First World War. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. So 11 o'clock on the 11th of November, we have a 2-minute silence around the country. So wherever you are, whether you're at work, on the street, everything stops and people observe, voluntarily, they observe a silence. And on the closest Sunday to that day, there is a big service at Westminster Cathedral, and there's a parade in central London, and the Queen and members of the royal family lay wreaths at the cenotaph. And the veterans, there are very few veterans now from even the Second World War. I remember as a child, when I watched this service on television, I remember then that you still had veterans from the First World War. But of course, over the years, they have all left us. And even now, there's a very small number of Second World War veterans. But the Remembrance Day, we call it, Remembrance Day is not just about the First and Second World Wars. It's also about all wars, including more recently in Afghanistan and Iraq, and our soldiers who have fallen there. So it's a day when we remember all people who have been killed in war, and not just British soldiers, of course, but all soldiers from Commonwealth countries who have fought on the side with the UK, on the same side as the UK.